What's up, everybody? Thanks for watching the inaugural episode of our unnamed podcast. My name is Matt, born 1980, just made Generation X. Nobody tried to take my Gen X card from me. I fit in there no matter what anybody else tries to tell you. 1980 was still a Gen Xer. Looking forward to the topics today. Got my boys Troy and Sean here, who also want to say hello. Go ahead, guys.
What's up, everybody? Troy here. I graduated in 1987, so Matt was just a toddler at the time, but I guess he made the cut. He's one of us. We'll allow it. We're just happy to be doing this. Three old guys going through their midlife crisis and want to talk about it, I guess.
My name's Sean. It's 1972. Was born and raised in Vegas. Spent my first 20 years there. Was supposed to graduate in 1990, but in true Gen X fashion, I said forget them grades and decided I want to do my own thing for a while. But had a lot of fun there, and looking forward to hanging out with a couple of my buddies and talking about life experiences.
I can't wait. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. We've got an amazing topic for our first story, which I've never heard any of this. And no matter how many times you tell me, Sean, I keep forgetting that you were born in Vegas, and so maybe that's related to the first topic. But Sean, why don't you introduce your first topic, your first story, and I am going to sit back and enjoy this story. I cannot wait to hear this.
So, we were talking earlier, some of the things you don't have today is kind of privacy type of stuff, about what social media takes over everything. But we went through a lot of crazy stuff growing up in Vegas. There was a lot of things that we got into that you don't get to see in today's world without everybody knowing your business. So one of the interesting industries that would come through in Vegas, and this was after my senior year. Of course, I didn't graduate, so I was partying too much my senior year. A buddy of mine, Dale, we hung out everywhere together the summer after what would have been our senior years. And the adult film industry comes to town to Vegas, and they do this big event every year at one of these hotels. So Dale and I, we're sitting around.
What's the name of the event? Like, do you remember? Because I know what you're talking about, and
it was like the porn star convention. Vegas is known for conventions. This was a porn star convention, and so they'd rent out this hotel, the whole hotel, and they'd have these big, conferences, and all the actors and actresses would be there. Ron Jeremy, all kinds of people would be there.
Now, were they doing awards, or were they just like mingling?
Well, at the time that we went there, they were doing kind of a mingling type of thing, which was, and we didn't know what was going to happen. We got there, we just said, "Hey, let's go check this out." We were 18, stupid. Let's go see what they're going to do there. And so he had a Mustang at the time. We hop in his Mustang, we shoot down there, and we get there, and we're walking around like two 18-year-olds, don't know what the hell we're doing. Eyes are big as hell, walking around. And you're recognizing a lot of the different actresses and actors if you happen to watch those VHS tapes.
I don't know what you're talking about, Sean. I wouldn't recognize any of them.
You were only 10 at the time. You still hadn't hit puberty yet. You might have not known. So some of those actors and actresses were walking around, and so they have this big conference area, and me and Dale, people figured out that we're just two young kids running through there but having a good time. We get there, and everyone's got their little lanyard and badge to get into the conference, and we're like, well, damn, we don't have a lanyard and badge, and so we're like, I guess we ain't gonna be getting into this place. About 5 seconds later, another guy comes up and says, "Do you guys need a lanyard to get in?"
What year was this, Sean? Sorry, I don't know if you told me the year.
90. This was 1990.
1990. Okay, so you're talking like Nikki Dial, like those people. Not that I would know. I'm just
yeah. Just but John Holmes, it's people like that.
Barbara Dare.
Yeah, see. So they're like, "Hey,"
we were just really good guessers, by the way. Troy and I, we plead the fifth.
You probably Googled it. Probably never seen those videos in your life, and I was the only heathen at the time. So this guy asked us, "You need a badge to get in?" And we both were like, "Yeah." And so he literally hands us a lanyard and a badge to go into this conference of nothing but adult film stars. So we walk in, and like I said, we're recognizing people from the adult film industry. And some people are just having talks on things. Some people are just sitting there. There's a lot of people there that are setting up to do movies and stuff. And you know, we're just two 18-year-old boys walking through there figuring, what the hell are we doing here?
So wait, hang on. So describe the atmosphere. So it's what is it like a giant like warehouse? Is it kind of like a Comic-Con, but there's just a bunch of different tables that you can go visit?
That would probably be the best definition. Would be like a Comic-Con of porn.
Okay. All right. I mean, this sounds awful.
No.
This sounds like a horrible place to be.
Famous actors everywhere at different areas. They have itineraries set up to talk on different talks for different things. You know, whether different positions, different styles of things you want to do.
Different positions.
They had a whole, I think, half an hour section on anal. You know, so there's a lot of stuff. You know, so
only 30 minutes? Oh, come on! You need more time than that. Jeez.
There's a lot of other topics. You know, cupping the balls, oral stuff like that. So there's a lot of other things there.
We've already got off the rails. We're like 4 minutes in. Oh my god.
So we're walking around, and like I said, we're seeing things, and I mean, everyone was really friendly, and we were going through these tables, and I stop at this one table, and this lady, she had to be 6'1", Amazon of a woman, and she really looked like, if you ever watched the movies Red Sonja from the comic books, she looked just like Red Sonja. Big Amazon woman, red hair, beautiful woman. And we're sitting there, me and my buddy, and I'll just go back to Dale, because if I say his nickname, he'll be recognized a lot quicker than his given name. So Dale and I are sitting there, and she looks at me and dead in my eyes and says, "You want to make a movie?"
Get out of here. Are you serious?
She looks at me, she says, "You want to make a movie?" I said, "Yeah, I'd love to make a movie."
You said yes? Oh my god.
There's more to it. There's more to it. So she's like, okay. So she takes out this paper and she puts it down on the table, and she puts her room number down and gives me a time.
Get out of here. Shut up, dude. No, are you serious?
I'm 100% serious. 100% serious. She gives me her room number, gives me a time, says, "Be there tonight if you want to make a movie with me." She says, "It'll be worthwhile." I said, okay. So, you know, we wander around, we have a good time, you know, probably another 20 or 30 minutes. And she sees me a couple different times, and she's pointing to me, she's winking at me and stuff. And I'm like, okay, cool. So we leave there, and my buddy Dale's like, "Are you kidding me?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" He says, "Are you going to go?" I'm like, "Hell, fuck no, I'm not going to that." I said, "I'm not going to do that." I said, "I don't know what you got."
I mean, you had a 30-minute session on anal. I mean, you were an expert at that point.
Well, so sure you're not going to go? I'm like, "Yeah, I'm positive I'm not going to go." He says, "Can I go?" I'm like, "Yeah." You know, so I give him the room number and the time to be there. And, you know, we hang out for a little bit longer. We go out to the pool, which is literally a freaking orgy at the pool. All kinds of porn stars out there showing all kinds of stuff out there at the same time. So we hung out there for a little bit, head on back to the house. And so the next day I called Dale. I'm like, "Hey, bud," I said, "How did it go?" He said, "You wouldn't believe it." I said, "Well, I mean, that's why I'm calling. Tell me how it went." He said, "Sean," he said, "me and another buddy we grew up with, Leonard," he said, "me and Leonard went." I said, "Okay." I said, "Did you guys make a movie?" He says, "Well, we got up to the room and there was a line all the way outside the door."
Oh, no.
It was the gangbang flick. And I'm like, "Oh." He says, "We left." He said, "I didn't want to be part of a gangbang."
Oh my god. Were they the last one in line with flowers?
I'll give them that. They knew better than to bring flowers. You've been seasoned enough in Vegas to know that there's romantic times and non-romantic times. That was definitely a non-romantic time.
So there's actually some legitimacy to these videos, like, you know, where they just pick up random strangers and make a film. Like, that's a legit thing.
It's an absolute legit thing. And they figured we're at an adult film conference, and they're going to go ahead while they're there, and they're just going to straggle up some people, and they're going to make movies. They're figuring, hey, time is money.
That's crazy. You know, what I think is interesting about the porn industry is, weirdly enough, they always seem to be the people who are the most technologically advanced somehow, they always have the latest and greatest technology. I guess there's just a lot of money in that industry for them to be able to keep up with that kind of stuff. But I remember even in the '90s, they were experimenting with like virtual reality stuff, like way back then.
Oh yeah.
So it's funny to think about like how much money pours into that. But
I
wow,
think it was the porn industry that pushed the accelerated advancement of like video graphics.
You're absolutely correct on that. You
Yeah,
guys are spot on.
people wanted clearer images and better pause functions and all that kind of stuff.
They didn't want the pause with the line going through it the whole time.
Exactly.
yeah.
Interesting, Sean. When you were at that convention, you said 90, 91.
Yep,
Is that right?
that was summer 1990.
Oh, here we go.
Okay.
Was Troy there? Here we go.
No.
Troy was in the room. Troy was
I
waiting for you.
I was actually in line in front of you. No. Um, no, I was on the submarine. So um, we have this dude on the sub. We called him the Librarian. And instead of bringing clothes and stuff like that underway, he brought all these VHS porn tapes.
Oh,
So he kept what we called the Smut Locker.
The Smut Locker. I love it.
Yeah. So you'd get off with your, or not get off, you would finish your shift.
And then finish yourself.
And then if you so desired, you could go visit the librarian and check out a tape. And that's what people did on the submarine when they were bored, I guess.
I was gonna ask you if that was so. Did you guys have? Because I've seen videos where you showed us your sleeping quarters. Like, where
Yeah.
are TVs and VHSs? Like, how do you even get any privacy with that?
So there were a couple places. We had the cruise lounge, which was maybe like a 8-foot wide by 12-foot long room that had a couple tables in it, and it had like a VHS and a TV, and you could rent movies. Not rent, you could check out movies. We had a lot of new release stuff early, and we would take that underway, and they called it burning a flick. You get off watching, you go burn a flick. So we'd sit in the cruise lounge, play a lot of cards, a lot of spades, a lot of euchre, stuff like that, and watch movies. Or after the meal was served in the cruise mess, they would set up a camera or a projector in there, and you could watch movies in there too.
That's fascinating. So was this something that the captain knew was happening, but just kind of had blinders on and let happen?
Yeah, I mean, what you gonna do, right? We're all adults, and it's not illegal. So,
I mean, you're in international waters. There's probably not much that's illegal at that point.
Was the librarian renting out the movies?
no, he would check them out to you, and for a certain amount of time, and then like if you didn't return it, he would have somebody come and get it from you.
Interesting.
How often did the librarian get to refresh his inventory?
So, I was on. There's two different types of submarines in the Navy. There's fast attacks and boomers. Fast attacks are smaller. They don't really have a set schedule. They just kind of go where they're needed for as long as it takes. And on a boomer, we're the ones that carry the missiles. So their goal is strategic deterrence. And we were on a specific schedule. There were 2 crews assigned to it. One of them would go out for like 3 months, and then they would come back to port, and the other crew would take it back out for 3 months, and you just rotated. So we were usually underway for about 90 days at a time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you guys like how often do you guys get shore leave? And the reason why I'm asking is, well, I don't know if I want to say this on the thing. Maybe I'll say it in a second. Like, did you guys have do you have any what do you call like your Navy buddies? Is there like a term for it, like naval mates, naval shipmates?
So yeah, you could call them a shipmate.
Shipmate. Do you have any shipmates that might have children in other countries from shore leave? Well, like, was that a thing that happened? Listen, my grandfather. So I'm just gonna say. So my grandfather, on my dad's side, so my dad's dad, we found out many years later from one of his war things that he was in, actually had children that we didn't know about. So I mean, it happens. I guess. I
Were they
guess it
Gen
happens.
Xers?
I don't know what the. So he would have been in the. What's World War II? 44,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, so they were boomers then, probably,
Yeah.
or the greatest generation. Is that what they call them? The greatest generation,
Yeah, my
and then the
granddad.
silent generation.
He almost made it to 100. He made it to 99, which is crazy to think about.
Wow.
But, yeah.
That's good for you. Good genes in your family.
Shit, I hope so. You know, my grandmother, she smoked since she was 13. My grandfather made it to 99, and I swear to God, every single day they ate eggs, bacon fat, biscuits with, I'm talking like the white thick gravy that's just like literally flour and like bacon grease. And they made it to like 99, you know, like no preservatives in the
Yeah,
food.
they were probably real happy. There's a lot of truth to happiness is longevity.
I swear to God, I'm not even joking. My wife and I, and before I met my wife, I would go over every Wednesday was like our family dinner night, and I would go all the way over to their house, and every single time they'd try to give me a jar of bacon fat. That was like their thing. Like, here's some bacon fat, and you know, luckily I was able to get some of their recipes to like kind of hand down. You know, that they would like meals that I really liked that they made. How do you make this? And I'd watch them, I'd write it down. So I'm really fortunate to be able to get that kind of stuff. I think that's kind of like a lost art now, especially when you just get frozen food now. But anyways, I don't know how we got sidetracked to all that, but yeah.
So you were asking if if it's common in the Navy for people to have children in foreign ports.
Yeah.
So I don't know how common it is, but it does happen. I was on a boomer, though, nuclear missiles. It's a nuclear powered submarine. A lot of foreign ports would not allow us there. So if we had a port of call, it was usually like Hawaii or something like that. So I didn't see a lot of foreign countries during my time in the Navy. But
hang on. So can countries reject you docking in their country? I don't know if I'm saying that right.
Yes, absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely.
We got to. They're carrying nuclear warheads.
So wait. So what's the protocol? Do you guys? I mean, because we're talking what, Troy? Like 88? Is that right? Like around that year?
Yeah. So I graduated 87. I went into the Navy August of that year and spent about 2 years doing some schooling and training and whatnot. And then I checked on board the boat in 89. So yeah.
So what's the protocol? Does the captain like radio? Like, how do you radio to a country? Like, dear country, can we dock?
Yeah, no, we're not just out there running around willy nilly. We have orders. You'll like as I said, the boomer the point of it is strategic deterrence. So we go out and we patrol. We have a box in the ocean, and they're like, you just stay in that box, and then on such and such day you'll come up close to the surface, you'll float an antenna out, and you'll get new orders, and you'll move to a different box.
Interesting.
Your new orders may be like, you're gonna go to this port and do this exercise type of thing, or something along those lines. So the Navy makes those decisions for you. We're not just out there, I think I'm going to pull into this country tomorrow. And it's all negotiated ahead of time. We just follow orders. We don't make them.
Yeah. Interesting.
Troy, where was your initial training at for your first 2 years? Was it in Orlando?
No, so I went to boot camp, basic training in Great Lakes, Illinois. And then as soon as I was done there, they have the Great Lakes, Illinois has two different bases. They have Recruit Training Command, which is boot camp. And then they have Naval Training Center, which is like across the highway. And I went to basic electronics and electricity school there, which is kind of like this self-paced course that's in a giant cement building with no windows. And as long as it takes you to get through the course, that's how long you're there. I did it in about a month and a half. Then from there, I went to New London, Connecticut for submarine school. And from there, I went to San Diego, California for my sonar school. And then from there, I went to Silverdale, Washington, my home state. And that's where I specialized a specific type of sonar. And from there, I got assigned to a submarine and reported to the boat. And I did that for 4 years. And after that, I went to Pensacola, Florida for a while to learn some more stuff. And then I went to Houston, Texas for a couple years where I was a Navy recruiter.
Okay.
That's crazy. I forgot you were a recruiter too. So, Sean, to wrap this up, did you ever go back to Vegas to any more of the porn conventions? Did you ever meet any of your idols? Or was that a one-and-done type event?
That was a one-and-done type of event for us. I think after you've been to one porn convention, you've seen them all.
And Troy, do you regret joining the Navy? Would you do it again if you could go back in time to your 1985 self? Would you whisper in your ear, "Hey, don't join the Navy," or would you do it all again?
I would definitely do it all over again. I would probably have not got out. I did a little over 9 years, just shy of 10. I think if I had to do it all over again, I would complete that next 10 years. So I get a pretty decent disability check from the government every month right now, but it would be nice to have a retirement check on top of that. I probably wouldn't have to work.
Yeah.
Well, if Torp keeps donating Bitcoin to you guys, you'll have a nice retirement fund. There you go.
Yeah, his $5 of Bitcoin is going to be worth 6 someday.
All right, Sean, thanks for sharing that story. I have never heard that story from you before. I didn't even know that was a thing. That's really funny, man.
Well, the funny part is I always have to talk to my daughter and my wife ahead of time. And I'm like, Julia, my daughter, I'm like, have I ever told you this story? And she's, oh, yeah, you told me this. I said, okay. I just want to make sure it doesn't surprise you if you ever hear it out there.
It's amazing. All right. Well, Sean, thanks for sharing. We're going to wrap this one up, and we'll talk about our next topic in next week. Appreciate it, Sean. That's that's a crazy story, dude. And you know what? Are you glad you didn't go through with it, Sean? Are you glad you didn't go through with it?
I am actually very glad, because I would hate to think that somewhere there's a part of me out there on the internet that I just can't erase.
Yeah, there you go. All right, cool. Any final thoughts, Sean?
Hey, the one thing that we had a great time is we could live those moments, and now we come back 30 plus years later and talk about them, and it wasn't out there for everyone to see at that moment. The great part next is you can relive the tale.
Thank God social media didn't exist to completely... Now, you just talk about it freely on a podcast to destroy your life openly, so there you go.